Hello, everybody. Welcome to No Sevens Dice Club College Football Picks Week 8. Well, I want to welcome the Big Ten for coming in this week and playing some football. It's nice that we're starting to get all the competition coming out. Now we're just waiting on the Pac-12, which I think is just a week away or 2 weeks away, somewhere roughly around there. They're going to start playing their 2 games for the season, and they're going to call it quits. No, it's not that bad. It's only, but they are going to only play, I think, 4 games, and then that's it. It might be 6, but I think they agreed upon 4. I know that for sure. But I'll look at that schedule later on. But I want to welcome the Big Ten. Ohio State coming back, another big powerhouse. Michigan State. We got them all. Rutgers. Really looking forward to seeing how they do with their shortened season. Really glad because I know I was looking at a stat earlier this season. Ohio State even played through the 1920 flu. They played every single season, I believe, since 1896. It might be even earlier than that, 1890. One of you guys can comment below and let me know how long it's been. But anyway, it's been a long time. They played through everything, even World War II. And for them to not play this year was kind of big. And then, as you can see on the board, my fan, so you got the little fan action going on. It's saying hello too. It's my biggest fan of the room. Anyway, so let's go ahead and let's talk about week 7. I was in Vegas. If you guys followed me, we had a great week. We went 3-0. We took the over for Clemson. We took the under for Arkansas Ole Miss. Clemson, let's talk about Clemson for a second. I did not see Clemson scoring over 70 points in that game to 7. Like I told you guys in the video, I figured they were going to score about 40, 50 points. Georgia Tech was going to score about, maybe 20 points. For Clemson to hang a 70 on somebody, I don't know if Dabo Swinney had a personal vendetta against Georgia Tech. I mean, I know it was one of his old schools that he used to coach at and stuff, but who knows what happened? I mean, that was insane. I'm glad we picked the over on that one. And the under worked out really well against Arkansas and Ole Miss. And then my other pick was that it was BYU taking on, I forgot who it was. I'm sorry, guys. I just drew a blank. Anyway, it was BYU, and they won that game on Friday night. So we finally broke the streak. We were on a 3-week losing streak, and I was getting really nervous that I was going to have a losing month. And I haven't had a losing month in almost 6 years. In 6 years, I've never had a losing month since then. So that's how I was getting really worried. I was starting to lose sleep. Glad we went 3-0. And last year, as you can see, 2020, we're at 11-10. For the season. I told you I'll probably be about 50-50 on this crazy schedule. Last year, I only lost 11 games all season long, including all the way up to the national championship. And right now, I'm at 10 losses for the year, just to go to show you how crazy this year is. So I think we could pretty much forget about me beating my 79.4% win percentage. But all right, enough ranting, enough catching up on football from last week. Let's talk about this week because that's the reason why you guys tuned in. It's week 8, October 24th. We do not have a Friday night game like we did last week against BYU or anything else. They're all this week. So the first game is Syracuse at Clemson. This game was played at Syracuse. They had that little, what's it called, the kidney dome where they have no AC and it's miserable. It should be an NCAA violation and they should shut down that place, demolish it because there is no AC and it is an easy bake oven. But that's just me ranting about Syracuse's stadium when LSU played there. But Syracuse is going to Clemson. It is minus 46 and the over, hold on, the over is 62 points. So Syracuse has some really good teams in the past. They were trending up in the past seasons. I really have not had a chance to really judge Syracuse this season, but is Clemson going to hang another 70? Why can't they? It's Syracuse. I mean, they are about the same level of strength of Georgia Tech. So I do like the over in this game. So I'm going to take Clemson or Syracuse and Clemson together with the over 62 points. And it's always fun to have an over game because you're cheering for both teams to score touchdowns and to score points. It makes the games a little bit more exciting. But let's go ahead and let's take Clemson and Syracuse for over 62 points. All right, the next game we have coming up is Auburn versus Ole Miss. The Lane Train is playing Auburn. As we all know, Ole Miss can put up some serious points. They've been averaging about 30, 40 points a game. Really pushed Alabama a few weeks ago into a really tough game, and then Alabama just said enough's enough, and they shut down Ole Miss and won that game. Now Auburn is coming in to play Ole Miss. Auburn's got a pretty good defense. Bo Nix, the quarterback for Auburn, is still kind of trying to find out where he is. We expected a bigger step for him coming into this season. We're really not seeing it. Ole Miss has no defense whatsoever, but Auburn doesn't have a high explosive offense. And Ole Miss, they kind of play to their level of competition. They really don't have a very steady offense. They don't go in there and they just don't start, running a high tempo offense. They don't sit there and keep on trying to push the competition. So Ole Miss went ahead and they played Arkansas last week, and that was a 75-point over-under score. And that's the reason why we took the under, because it was way too many points. 70 points, I think, is way too much for this game. I just don't see enough offensive firepower on both sides. I think this game is going to probably total out to be in the 60s, probably about the mid-60s, 64, 65 points total. So I think that this is going to be an under game. Auburn usually plays Ole Miss pretty tough in this game. Like I was saying about Ole Miss's offense, they don't come out. They play to the level of competition. Auburn's defense plays to their level of competition, and I expect Auburn to play a little bit tougher defense versus Ole Miss. They're just there's not a rival between the two teams, but they do have a little bit of a chip on their shoulder when it comes to Ole Miss. So we are going to go ahead and we're going to take the under on Ole Miss, and the under. So the under on Auburn and Ole Miss, I should say. All right, so there we go. We got the under for 70.5 points. Now, Kansas at Kansas State. This is an in-state rival game. It's going to be a really good game. There's a couple of notes I want to make about this game, that if you guys have not been paying attention to Kansas State is undefeated, and they're looking pretty solid. Kansas State is minus 20 points, and this is going to be the seesaw action. I was kind of thinking about where do I want to put this game, because there are a couple of notes, and I'm going to read them off my tablet, so give me 1 second while I'm making this. All right, so Skylar Thompson in the second quarter against Texas Tech hurt his upper body. We really don't know what it is. It just says an upper body related injury. So this will be Will Howard's first college start in the game. And he had a big road win against TCU last week. So, and that was one of the games I won, thankfully, because I was telling you that I think Kansas State should have been not the favorites, because or the underdogs, because they were +7. They should have been -10, and I think the game ended up a 14-point difference, so I called it pretty close. Kansas University has yet to allow fewer than 38 points in any of its 4 games, and Kansas State has only allowed 20 points and less in most of their games. So this is going to be a really close game. Kansas State has really got a phenomenal defense this year, and Kansas is still kind of trying to figure themselves out. We were not expecting this, while we thought Kansas was going to start trending up and not still be at the bottom of the barrel where they are. We figured that they would be moving up in the rankings, but instead they're kind of just trending downwards and sideways. I think they only won 1 game so far this season, and Chris Kelman, I think is how you say his name, the head coach for Kansas State, has really got this team humming. I expect them and hold me to it. And I really don't know. But I think they're going to outright win the whole entire season. I think they're going to go pretty much undefeated in the Big 12 conference. I expect them to beat Texas. I expect them to beat whoever's competition. The only team that I have a little bit of concern that they're going to face is probably Baylor, because Dave Hernandez is a really good head coach. He's doing really well with that team, but I expect Kansas State probably to represent the Big 12, and I would not be shocked to see them play on a New Year's Six bowl game, representing the Big 12 as an undefeated team. That's my prediction. That's where I stand. Hard to believe to see Kansas State like that. And then you're going to have a question mark on whoever they play in the New Year's bowl games. If they beat that team and they go undefeated, where do they stand? But that's way down the road. We're not going to worry about that right now. They're playing Kansas. Kansas State is -20. I really like Kansas State in this, so we're going to take Kansas State -20. They've been making me money every single week. Always been covering anything that Las Vegas has been throwing to them. So let's go ahead and take Kansas State -20. And you guys can send me your comments and let me know what you think about Kansas State representing the Big 12. All right, the next game. South Carolina at LSU. LSU's -7. If you guys do not know, in Missouri, I don't know what in the world happened to that game. LSU had 4 chances from the 1-yard line and still could not score a touchdown to win that game. I'm really disappointed in LSU. I mean, this is the reason why you do big cat drills. This is the reason why you couldn't give it to a 300-pound lineman, offensive lineman, and let him run the ball up 1 yard. He couldn't jump over. Whatever it was, it's LSU is not trending sideways anymore. LSU is trending down. Their season is highly questionable, and to throw a monkey in the wrench, Miles Brennan, their junior quarterback, has an undisclosed injury, upper body injury, and he is going to be labeled probably out for the LSU game. And they're looking at maybe TJ Finley. He's a quarterback from Ponchatoula, and the kid's 18 years old. And get ready for this. He's 18 years old. He's 6'6", 265 pounds, and can throw a monster ball. And he's got really good legs. So they're looking at him, and they're looking at, I think it's Mack Jones is the other one. But anyway, they're probably going to pull the trigger on TJ Finley. Never started before in college football. Played Ponchatoula football here down in Louisiana. Really special kid. They say he's a total freak machine. So kind of looking forward to seeing how that game goes. South Carolina is, if anything, South Carolina going into this game should be -14, -21 points. LSU should be in the plus side because they don't have a quarterback. They have no defense. Bo Pelini's job is in question right now. I'm afraid, and I'm an LSU fan, diehard, and I really do think that LSU is that it's starting to become a dumpster fire over there, and it's looking bad. I mean, everything is just falling apart for them this season, and now we're going to see how well Ed Orgeron can really right the ship, put all the pieces back together, because breaking this week, LSU got docked NCAA violation fines for losing scholarships over what happened in the national championship celebration with Odell Beckham giving money and to the players. And Odell Beckham is now banned from LSU for 2 years. That sanction was passed down from LSU, so he cannot go back to LSU. And they lost 4 scholarships, I think, for 2022 and 2023. And more violations are subject to come down. So this year is horrible for LSU. You had an ultimate high in 2019, and now you're in the beyond the basement. You're somewhere in the gutter right now for LSU. It's just things are going from bad to worse to dire. Getting back to the South Carolina LSU game with a freshman quarterback, if you can pick this game, I know it was going back and forth. LSU being -7. I don't even see LSU winning this game, and I don't even think they're even going to cover, the -7. I'm going to pick South Carolina to go ahead and handle LSU. LSU's won every single game against South Carolina for the past 20 years almost. And this is going to be South Carolina's turn to go ahead and beat it. So we're going to take South Carolina +7 at LSU. All right, next up is Texas State at BYU. So when I had my all Texas teams and everything else, I had, it was not a good week. Texas came back and said, their famous saying, don't mess with Texas. So maybe I won't do an all Texas beatdown next time, because Texas really showed up and showed me how it's done. And we have Texas State at BYU. Texas State, if you really don't know a lot about them, they're a pretty good team this year. They've been doing pretty well. BYU has been kind of flatlining. They were really up there. Now they're kind of, they spiked, and now they're coming back down, and so they're kind of flat. BYU is still undefeated, though, so let me go ahead and congratulate them for being undefeated. But BYU is almost minus 29 points in this game. I do not see BYU being beating Texas State minus 29 points. I really don't know too much about this, about Texas State, and we already know what BYU can do. But so to speed up the process in this film picking, we're going to go ahead and take Texas State plus 28.5 points. I think this is going to be a smart move, because anytime BYU is over 20 points or anything over 14 points, they cannot cover. They have not been able to cover anything that large. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to take Texas State plus 28.5 points. All right, next up is Alabama at Tennessee. This game, or this tradition of this game, goes back for many decades, and it's always been a great rival between the two. Alabama is minus 21.5 points in this. Tennessee is averaging about 23 points a game, somewhere around 18 to 23 points a game. And Alabama's been averaging 30 to 40 points a game. Alabama comes into this game minus 21.5. After each victory that Alabama beats Tennessee, they always smoke cigars. It's always been a tradition. I don't know why they smoke cigars, but hey, each thing has. SEC is known for their traditions, but we do have Mack Jones coming into this game. Last year he backed up Tua. This year he's out front. He was able to get some reps when Tua was hurt last year, which really helped grow him and helped speed up the process of his growth playing quarterback. And if you look at Mack Jones, he's kind of a dark horse for the Heisman this year. I don't know if he's going to win the Heisman with Trevor Lawrence at Clemson, but next year if he decides to stay, he'll definitely be my pick to win the Heisman. He's really good. He's very accurate. And if you look at some of the games this year, the way he's throwing to some of the wide receivers and everything else, he is doing a really good job. I think one of them, I'm looking, hold on one second, is Jalen Waddle. If you ever happen to chance, watch Mack Jones and Jalen Waddle connect. Jalen Waddle is going to be a first-round pick. He's a wide receiver for Alabama, doing really well. A lot of the Alabama alum that I'm talking to is saying that Mack Jones is another Drew Brees. Very accurate, very poised, steps up in the pocket, very accurate on where he wants to throw, understands the routes of his wide receivers. So Alabama is definitely going to probably be the team to beat in the SEC. I did say it was going to be Florida. They went ahead and they handled Georgia pretty well, even though that game was tied at one point. So, but let's get back into Alabama at Tennessee. I do think this is going to be a close game. Tennessee is going to play them tough as hard as they can because Tennessee knows that this is their game of the year. So they're going to play them extremely tough. I wish there was crowd noise in this game for Tennessee to help them out a little bit, get the 12th man involved. But unfortunately, there will not be enough people in the stands. But I know Alabama's going to win this game outright, but I do think Tennessee is going to cover that 21.5 points. So we're going to take Tennessee plus 21.5. All right, and last but not least, and I'm gonna go over all the teams. I'm gonna bring this up so that way you guys can see it. All right, so we have the bully picks. There you guys go. All right, we have the bully picks this week, and these are going to be our money line picks. We have, like I said, the first game we mentioned was Syracuse at Clemson. Clemson's going to win this game outright. Next game is Texas State at BYU. BYU is going to win this game outright. Texas State, I think, is going to cover. Kansas State is playing Kansas. We think that Kansas State is going to win this game outright, and we expect them to cover. That's the reason why we have -20. Alabama is going to beat Tennessee. They're just going to keep on rolling. But we expect Tennessee to go ahead and cover, so that's the reason why we got them plus 21.5. I think they're going to cover that score. And next up is we got the Big Ten. Ohio State is playing. Hold on one second. I just had it and I lost it. Ohio State is playing Nebraska. I expect Ohio State to come out, roll this team pretty well. I didn't pick any Big Ten teams right now because I want to see how everybody does. Give them about a week or two. And then UCF is playing Tulane. This is going to be a little bit of a questionable game, but I expect UCF to come out and take care of business against Tulane. Michigan State is playing Rutgers. I expect Michigan State to win this game outright, and they might even have a chance to cover, but we didn't go over that game, but I expect Michigan State to win. These are going to be my question marks: UCF, Michigan State. Miami, Florida is playing Virginia. I expect Miami, Florida to win this game, but the last three teams are all questionable. So if you don't feel confident for UCF, Michigan State, and Miami, Florida, go ahead and just pull those off. Have Clemson, BYU, Kansas State, Bama, and Ohio State, and make a few extra dollars. Put down $10, you win $18, $19. Quick, easy money. Pretty simple. But if you want to boost it up a little bit, have that 8-team leg parlay, and put all those teams, Clemson, BYU, Kansas State, Bama, Ohio State, UCF, Michigan State, and Miami, Florida. That's going to be our bully picks. And like I was saying at the beginning of the video, we have to just get one more loss and we're tied for next year. It's hard to believe we only lost 11 games last year. It was a very magical year. But let's see how we do this week. Last week was really good. Like I said, we went 3-0. And hopefully we can have the same success like we did last week. But thank you for tuning in, guys. Sorry the video was a little long this week, but thanks for watching all the way to the end. And we'll go over Week 9 Halloween Special Edition. And I'll talk to you guys next week.